Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, where we bring you conversations with entrepreneurs, CEOs, and innovative thinkers from around the world. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Arlene Ince. What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 578. Today, we're joined by Taurea Avant, a two-time TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and visibility strategist. She knows what it takes to turn your expertise into a message people see, remember, and act. Let's talk about visibility and building opportunities around your voice. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Francis. I'm so happy to be here, so grateful, and I can't wait to dig into this conversation.
I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you want them to know about your business and also you?
Absolutely. Well, what I will start off with, just like on the personal side, is I am a child of two U.S. or United States Air Force military parents. I was born in Langley Air Force Base Hospital. However, I am not like the typical military brat that they say where you traveled all over the world. It's funny, we were talking about where you are at now. I lived in Arizona. For about a year of my life when I was just a toddler. I remember a little bit about it, but I was born in Virginia. We went to Arizona, came right back, grew up in Virginia, went to Hampton University, the illustrious Hampton University, and I got a degree in computer science. By by the time I had graduated from college, though, I had really embarked upon this interest of being an entrepreneur. But I always like to joke because in my early years, I was really more of a tripreneur. I would try literally everything. I mean, I sold not everything that was legal, by the way. But I sold knives, vacuum cleaners. I was a bail bondswoman. I did life insurance. Mind you, when I say did, just take that very lightly, like with a grain of salt, because I never really attempted. I just signed up for the things. And, it just really was something that, and I see this happen in a lot of people in entrepreneurship. You get excited about a thing, you lose the momentum, and then you go on to the next thing. And it wasn't until 2006, 7, really around 2005, my father was diagnosed with cancer. Now, a little bit more about my story is that by the time I was 11 years old, I had experienced a lot as a young woman. My mother passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. And so, if you understand like what that illness is, you understand that with my mother, I dealt a lot of, taking care of her over her taking care of me. But I quickly learned at a young age that it was a sickness that she had, and I loved her to life. So now I have my father, and I'm in my early 20s, just recently graduating from college, and he is diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and it really shifted my whole paradigm. Unfortunately, 7 months later, my father did not survive here on this earth. God did call him home. And in that process, it was like I learned so much about like how we play around with our time. I learned so much about my father. A lot of times in certain families, you really don't talk much about your personal lives, your parents. And so I didn't really know him as a person. I just knew him as my dad. But I learned so much about him and his life. And I also realized that he was sitting on his unfortunate deathbed, wishing that there were certain things that he would have done. And how many of us we take these days for granted? We say, well, tomorrow or God willing or next week. But the truth is faith without works is dead. So God has already given us the will. And so when he did pass away, I moved to Atlanta. My dad had insurance, and I used to be ashamed to talk about that too. But he set me up for the life of being able to do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. Launched my business, and said, I'm going to stay focused. I'm not going to jump into different things. And that was the beginning to what now has me in the space of helping over 15,000 speakers and coaches, doing international events, speaking all over the world, published multiple books. It just has been a true blessing. I got into doing websites and working with individuals through products and services. And now full time, I am a book coach and visibility coach as well. So that's a little bit about my story.
Now, why books? Out of all the ventures you've tried, why did books stick?
It's so funny because I actually went and got my bachelor's in computer science. So that's another thing. Like, how did the heck did you even get into entrepreneurship? Like, you're not programming and things like that. But one thing I will tell you that computer science did teach me was problem solving. How did I get into books, Dr. Francis? Because books are one of the best marketing tools for entrepreneurs who want to speak on more stages and who want to get into the coaching and leadership space. A lot of people say, because I've written so many books, they're like, oh man, you must be a great writer. Well, I will say I think I'm really good, but ultimately, I'm a businesswoman. And so, if there's an event that I possibly see myself getting on the stage for, I would write a book so that I could use that book to pitch myself to get on the stage. If I want to be able to be on a major platform and I want to be able to share my expertise, I may write a book that is extra controversial, that kind of goes against the grain, so that, oh man, we've got this woman who totally disagrees. We don't know this woman for anything, but she wrote a book about this topic. She's now an expert. Let's bring her on. So I quickly learned that writing the right book can open up doors for you as an entrepreneur. I don't even care about writing a memoir or a biography. In fact, when when that happens, I probably won't be living in this world anymore. What I wrote the book for was specifically to use it as a tool to build my business. And so that's why I got into the book space.
And I love that. And you know what I'm sensing that what has happened because you had mentioned if there's a book or if you want to get on stage, you write the book. So
Mhm.
it is actually appeasing all of those things that you like to do if you want to pivot and shift. Now,
Yeah.
this is what I want you to go more in depth about because a lot of people, they've heard about that strategy that you write the book to get on stage or get more speaking or to propel or whatever.
Hmm.
And I think the majority, it hasn't worked for them.
Nope.
What is the
A
secret?
large majority. Well, first of all, the majority of most entrepreneurs haven't made a profit. The majority of most speakers and coaches, it's over 80% of most people. First, I will say the biggest secret is that if you think about it, Dr. Francis, nobody really taught us marketing. We just became passionate about something because of an experience. And a lot of times when we go to market what we do because of that passion, we're marketing the passion and not necessarily the problem. And so, what
Mm.
I find from a lot of authors, like for example, I'll get someone that sends me a book that's like titled Overcoming. Okay, overcoming what? Because literally, when I woke up this morning, I overcame not feeling like getting up out the bed today. Okay, but that's a different. I was tired. You know how you have one of those late nights? I had a late night watching something crazy, and then I was like, oh, I gotta get up. But I woke up and I'm excited, right? But then you have some people overcoming domestic violence. You have people overcoming being disrespected on the workplace, overcoming being disrespected because the color of your skin. And so what you have to learn how to do is it's all marketing. I believe more businesses would be successful if they understood that their marketing is tied to connecting to what the marketplace wants and not what you necessarily want to passion out. I'll give you an example. I am a believer. I'm a believer. I believe that Jesus Christ walked this earth. And I always like to use this example. So imagine if, and regardless if you believe he did or not, many of us know the story, right? So he came here to bring salvation. That was his purpose in the world. But imagine he come up to people saying, hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. I'm here to bring salvation. Because of me, you will be able to go to heaven. You don't have to do anything else. He did, but they would have been looking at him like, what? Wait, like, and that's his purpose, aka the passion, right? That's what most entrepreneurs do. They try to promote that purpose and passion. But what Jesus did is he did miracles. The way he promoted himself for people to want to plug into him, to want to follow him, to listen to him, is a woman who was bleeding for us a long time. He said, "You're healed." A man who was on a carpet, he said, "Stand up and walk." He literally healed people. And so, what we have to understand, even as authors, we're business owners. So you got to take one area of your life and learn how to market the problem and solution versus marketing the purpose. And so it like nobody cares about the life story of Taurea Avant, at least not yet. I always say, like, if I walk into a room with 5,000 people and every single person knows who I am, okay, then maybe I'll write the life story of Taurea Avant. But until then, there's some people who want to know, well, how did you overcome growing up in a household of an alcoholic mother and my father, who was also an alcoholic, but he got clean? And how did you overcome that? Because I am 50 years old and I am still dealing with the loss of my parent at a young age. That is a very specific audience and a very specific way of how you market yourself. So hopefully it's so much more, of course, that I can tap into, but that's like the easiest way for me to try to give an example.
Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is going to be someone that either is already speaking or wants to speak. Definitely that woman who has been in corporate America maybe for 20 years. She's been able to climb the ladder and now she wants to show other people how to do it. Or maybe she's doing consulting work and she doesn't really know how to really like brand herself and put herself out there. Like, I know a lot of times in our community, like being, talking about your accomplishments is kind of ugh. And so, no, I'm going to show you how to talk about the accomplishments, how to put out a book that connects to what people want to know, and really position you so that you're able to get, oops, sorry about that, but position you so that you're able to get the visibility to help sell the product and the service. So, speakers, if you're in the coaching space, the consulting space, you're not just writing the book so that you can say, I wrote it, but you want to learn how to use it to effectively as a tool to sell the information, to sell the retreats. Maybe you have a great product that is high ticket and you want people to buy that. That is my ideal client.
Absolutely. I want you to have a monologue and I want you to name this person. Who is that person that impacted your life the most? And what are you saying to that person?
Hmm. There's so many different moments in my life where there's major impact. I want to talk to Avant. Andre Avant. The reason why I want to have a conversation with you is because you are always a person who, no matter what, even though I had all these crazy ideas about entrepreneurship, I want to launch this business, launch that business, you never ever shut me down. You always were open for me being explorative in these ideas and businesses. And I think that because you supported me no matter what, it allowed me to feel that I could do anything, even though I would quit it. And you would still get on me about quitting things, but you never told me, no, you can't do it. I think that's so important that as a person who is a parent, my father, you were my hero. I went to school for computer science because you were a techie. I think that because you believed in me and no matter what I wanted to try, it always gave me the internal motivation that I needed to move forward. While you're no longer here, I still think about the fact that I know that you are watching me and that you're proud of everything that I've done. And I just continue to want to make sure that you are up in heaven saying, go ahead, Stanka, because he used to always call me Stanka. But go ahead, Stanka. I'm so proud of you. And so I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for never shutting me down, allowing me to be creative and try and quit and try and quit. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And our sincere sympathy for you, for the passing of both of your parents. So,
Thank you.
for
Thank
that.
you so much.
What was that aha moment when
Hmm.
that you knew that you were going to be successful, Taurea, in business?
Girl, what am I successful? Like, the only way I knew that I was successful is because somebody said, I'll never forget. Well, you know what? I remember I was doing a collaboration book. So I do a lot of collaboration books, right? And I had put out there that I'm looking for 12 business owners who have done over $10,000 a month in income. And I didn't have one person. And I was like, no, wait a minute. Where I thought everybody was making a lot of money in business, right? Because to me, I'm not about to keep doing something if it ain't producing a profit. And I was very naive to the fact that, Taurea, no, it's a very small percentage of entrepreneurs who can actually say they've launched a business and they're making over 6 figures a year. Because if you look on social media, everybody is like, oh, let me show you how to make 7 figures, 7 figures, 7 figures. Like it's just easy. And this was probably around 20, maybe 2015, 2016. And so that was a moment where it kind of clicked for me that it was like, oh, okay. So now my mission shifted a little bit because I thought I was just going to help people to be authors and, get it out there. It shifted to now I got to show people really how to make money and how to be able to have success with it. So I will say that probably for me. But, one thing about success is that it's a continual moving goal. Right. So once you hit something, then it becomes, I want to get this and I want to do that. Where I will say that my life has shifted tremendously, though, is that for me, success is not about obtaining things, it's about continuously leaving more impact. And so, like, how many more people can I help? How many more people can they, can say that as a result of knowing me, this has transformed their life? And so I don't even know if I could even measure and identify, but I will say that I'm thankful that if God did ever call me home, that I know that I've continuously lived this day with the intention of leaving impact and not necessarily focusing on what I could get.
And how do you make impact every day? How do you make that impact? How do you think you
Wake
can?
up. The first thing is to
Okay.
wake up, baby, because it ain't easy. I go through days where I am tired of doing this. And
Mhm.
it's not because anybody did anything, and it's not because, it's time to transition. It's just life. Like we have to understand because life can get you. Personal issues that are going on. You got relationship challenges, friendship challenges, spirituality. So all of that is happening. And then at the same time, you got to get up and do something that nobody is going to check to see if you're doing your work, right? I've literally, in all my years of being a tripreneur to a professional, successful entrepreneur, quote unquote, nobody has ever called me and said, hey, I'm just calling to see, did you do some work today and make some money? Right? And so for me, I feel like a win is, first of all, waking up and getting on this computer and doing a thing. But knowing in regards to how am I impacting people, being honest,
Mhm.
being truthful. I feel like as a leader, and that maybe is just my assignment as a leader, it's important too to let people know about the journey that you're going through and how you can be able to help people with that experience so that they don't have to go through it, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just know that every single day I wake up, I thank God and I get on this social media, I get on these email lists, I get on these text messages, and I let people know that they can do this too. Don't give up.
Let's talk about legacy. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh man, this is the funny thing too, because I have said this over and over again. Like when it's my funeral, you know how they try to limit the number of people they can say something about? No. This is going to be a 10-hour funeral. Just let people know in advance. If you got to go, you could go. Okay. But whoever wants to get up there and say a thing, which I know that that's not going to happen. But still, like, I want to know that because of my existence here on this earth, that I've maybe helped someone build a better relationship with their friends and family. I've helped them launch a book. I've helped them launch a business. But ultimately, if I could be truthful, I know that God has given me all of these gifts to lead them back to Him. And so, if I can be just a fruitful child of God and lead more people back to knowing God's love, and at the same time building a ridiculously successful business, then I know that my purpose here on this earth has absolutely been worth it. And every single day I'm doing that. Every day I do a devotional. I go out here. I still am myself too, because guess what? I ain't perfect. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to do some things. And I do my best to lead by example.
Let's talk about in business, and I love your authenticity when you talk about tripreneur. I love that. And so talk about that the risk and reward factor. What was that worst moment in business and what was your takeaway?
Mm, worst moment. There again, that's another thing. It's just so many of them. Like you never climb the ladder without going up and then falling a little bit and going up. I mean, I don't even know, Dr. Francis. I think sometimes I try to eliminate some of those things from my mind, okay? I mean, there have been times, I'll tell you, I do a lot of events. And I remember one of my annual conferences coming up. And a lot of times, guys, when you do these events, people, when you're charging and things like that, people don't understand, like, you don't make a lot of profits doing events, right? And had this event coming up, and I was used to the hotel allowing me to pay once the event was over. But for whatever particular reason, baby, that the lady came up to me while we were setting up, and she was like, "Yeah, so we need you to go ahead and pay that invoice." And most of us that are entrepreneurs, even making six figures, we're reinvesting back into our business. I didn't have $10,000. I said, "Well, listen, I know that normally you'll let me pay after the event. Can I just pay after the event?" She was like, "No, that's a no-go. You're gonna have to pay right now. We need you to pay today." And so I had to get on the line. And when I tell you, I had to make it happen and make it shake. But within less than 24 hours, I had 10,000. Now, that wasn't necessarily a failure, but it was a situation where my back was up against the wall. And so this is the thing. I don't believe we have necessarily failures. We have lessons. And then we also have blessings. That was a lesson. Never do that again. Make sure you had that thing paid off before you even start getting to the month of the event. And so as I've moved forward, now we focus on getting sponsorships. We focus on making sure that we have that covered before the event comes. So that's just one example, but I mean, I got so many different stories. I mean, it's almost to the point where, like when you're going through the thing, it's like heart drop, you feel like you're gonna die. And now I look back at some of this stuff and it tickles me to know that, okay, so this is the journey of entrepreneurship. And the truth is, honestly, most people will not be willing to go through a lot of the stuff that we experience that they never see.
Talk about your two influencers or business mentors and what lessons did they teach you?
So my first would have to be David Imonitie. David was, well, we are the same age, but when I used to be, when I first moved to Atlanta, he was one of my leaders in a multi-level marketing company that I was in. Now, many people, if you've ever heard of multi-level marketing, it's like the Mary Kays and the Tupperware and stuff like that. I got into that industry, and he really was a pivotal person in my life. Not just because I was able to do well in the industry, which, by the way, not a large percentage of people make money, but because of his ability to not only bring balance into the word of God, but also like speak life. And so he knew, mind you, I was making a lot of money in network marketing, but I hated it. I hated it for reasons I won't even get into. There's nobody business. But, well, I tell that sometimes too, but I won't go into that today. I hated it, but what ended up happening was I was at the house one day and he called me. He said, "Taurea, launch your coaching business." Mind you, I was like, "Coach, like, because I knew that I couldn't stay in network marketing, but at this time I had now become like mentally unemployable. I was making so much money. There's no way that going back to the job would I make that type of income. So he said, "Launch your coaching business." And we sat down. Mind you, I'm a part of his organization. So that means like if I don't grow my organization, he loses money.
Mhm.
You don't really get that a lot of times in this
Right.
industry of network marketing. And so we created the company back then. It was called System Mastery. Show your success, show your success to effective marketing mastery. That's what we called it. And launched the business. I did my very first workshop. I had 61 people show up, 5 people enrolled into my program, and it changed my life. So he was number one. Number two, I also want to shout out Myron Golden because before I knew David, I was at a program with Myron Golden. Mind you, the same course that I enrolled in at that time was like 10 grand. He now charges like 55K for. And so I enrolled into his course because, again, I was in network marketing still, but he was one who taught me that people would actually invest into your intellectual property. Now, mind you, I went to Hampton and got a degree in computer science. So that means I invested into intellectual property already, but it didn't really it didn't connect because that was a university. And so he was like the first person to show me. I invested into his program. I made my money back. And now it's just really nice to see Myron as well, like where his business has gone. It's literally transformed. He's like known all over the world. And what that reminds me of is that if it can happen for Myron Golden, because at the time you enrolled, he was not the Myron Golden he is today, it can happen for you. And God is no respecter of person. And so I'm very grateful for those guys. And there's more people, but those are like the two main people I would say that really launched me into this industry of coaching.
Oh, I love that. And when you think about coaching, talk about vetting a coach because you alluded to this earlier. There's so many people online and
Yes.
they don't have the receipts. How do you
Mhm.
get the receipts? How do you show them exactly if someone is vetting a coach, what would you recommend?
Well, I think it's vital that we definitely vet coaches and you do not base your decision off of what they have. Because there are some coaches out here that just are really good at selling. I'm just going to be, they don't know how to deliver what they're selling. They will sign you up for a package for 25K. And then when it comes to actually delivering the results, we don't see anything. It's crickets. And so when you are, first of all, number one, the coach needs to have achieved something that you're looking to achieve. So, for example, Dr. Francis, I had somebody message me one day, was like, hey, listen, I want to launch an online store. Can you coach me on launching the online store? I don't do that. But what most coaches will do is say, sure, I'll help you launch an online store. Knowing I know how to do it? Yes. But is that my ministry right now as far as the vehicle that I'm using? No, it is not. And so we've got to make sure that when we're looking for someone to help us, it's got to be, you got to know what you want. And so I do believe it is the responsibility of the student to make sure that this coach is qualified to help them achieve the specific goal. We don't go to a doctor or the emergency room because we just generally want to feel better. No, you're feeling sick. So I'm about to pay this doctor because my stomach hurts and I want you to eliminate this pain. So when you go to a coach, I need someone to show me how to market myself, then they should have experience in doing that. And the most important part is they should have some clients. So with my high ticket clients, when somebody's coming on board, I send them the proposals and stuff. But guess what I also do? I introduce them to clients that I've worked with. And I just say, listen, I want to introduce y'all. I would like for you to just share what it's like. Don't include me in the message and let them know. People believe what other people say about you before they believe what you say about yourself. But I also think it's important that when we're enlisting the help of a coach, make sure they have some results. Like before you're investing, don't just, oh, they got the Lambo and they've got the things and they've got the beautiful house and the husband and the wife and it. No. Do they know how to help you to achieve what you're looking to achieve? Yeah.
You've had so many successful clients and only share what you can share. Tell us a client or two and their success story
Hmm.
and what they enjoyed about working with you.
Well, a lot of times, my clients, honey, they never leave. Okay. They're always their family forever. So I think that's important too. This day and age, it is important that we understand that the way that we're working with people is shifting. Building community, building relationship is so important. So I have a young lady, her name is Tammy Moore. Tammy Moore, when she came to me several years ago, before she came, she was already making six figures in the corporate space, but she wanted to be able to now use her voice to speak on more stages. She wanted to be able to inspire and empower women and do all the things. So she found me through a workshop I was doing. I used to do workshops everywhere. I was doing a workshop at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Microsoft store. Come on, y'all. And so signed up into my public speaking course, and that really took her to the next level. But what happened was a couple years later, she got married. and her husband was in the trucking industry. They started pitching these trucking courses. And remember, I teach you how to leverage your information and build big business. So we worked on creating the book and all the things. Well, they went from having a trucking business that was maybe they were selling to clients about $200, $300 and maybe making $2,000 to $5,000 a month to now having a company that was generating over 80 plus $1,000 a month. They built a multi-million-dollar coaching industry because of the techniques that we were teaching them in this program. And so that she's just like one of the examples, right? I have another young lady, I'll shout her out. Her name is because sometimes success is not always necessarily monetary. Success is also finding yourself and saying, "Oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do. I would do it if I was not even getting paid," which means now it makes it that much more rewarding when you do. So Inga Nicole, when I first met her, she was living in Pennsylvania, and she was telling me she's trying to do all these things, child. And so this is why I say, like, I'm a book coach, but what I do is I take one thing, we learn how to put that into a brand, we leverage the book to really put you out there and create a whole entire ecosystem. So she's like, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to host events, I want to help the women, I want to sell some clothes, I want to," girl, you working too much. And so we ended up narrowing it down. I said, "What is it that you've already done in the corporate space?" Because she said, "I was in corporate forever." Okay, well, what did you do? "Well, I helped them make a whole lot of money. I helped them get grants." Girl, you know how many of us need to get some grant money? Why don't you turn that into the business, showing people how to get funded? So then we tapped into that. But now I said, what you got to do though, Nisha, because Nisha, that's another one of our clients. But Inga, what you have to do is you're talking to too many people. And because you're talking to too many people, nobody's connecting. It's kind of like when you go to church and you're like, "Pastor was talking to me." No, he was talking to everybody. He just know what everybody dealing with in the audience, right? And so I said, you got to figure out who your audience is going to be so you can have conversations with her. It wasn't until she then started opening up because she actually served time in the federal penitentiary because she was in an abusive relationship where she retaliated. And unfortunately, she was the one who ended up going to jail. And she used to be very embarrassed to tell this story. I said, "You got to start telling that story because there are other women who maybe they've gone through the system, who are going through abuse. Maybe they're about to make a decision that could possibly land them there, and they don't know how to get out now because she is now willing to tell her story of going through abuse, going through the federal penitentiary. By the way, she's going to be running for senator very soon, and we know she's going to get it. Now her audience has literally tapped in. The women are reaching out to her all over the world because they are experiencing what she's gone through. And because you can help me to get funded, I want to work with you because I relate to who you are in your story. So those are two different examples, but working with me, I was on the line with another young lady before we got on today, and I was telling her, like, many people think, "Oh, I'm a publisher." No, I'm not. I'm very big at strategy. And that goes back to computer science. So I always thank, Hampton University for helping me to having some of those skill sets of how to be able to solve a problem for a client and turn this into opportunity that builds you multiple streams of income. And if you can see, like, y'all may not be able to see me, but I am so pumped up because I love what I do. Like, seriously.
I love that. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. One of the things that I found, and it's really a blessing that you're repping Hampton. I've interviewed over 500 entrepreneurs over the last 9 years. And when I talk to entrepreneurs who have gone to HBCUs, it's something different that they're coming away with.
Mm.
And I don't know if the HBCUs have really tapped into that, but it's really a secret sauce that the individuals, even if they take that, who has been extremely successful, they've come from HBCUs versus, and not brushing, predominantly white institutions is just it's a secret sauce that comes
Mhm.
from that. It's almost like I tell individuals that used to work for MGM. When they leave MGM Hotel, it's something that they're giving them that's propelling them to be successful. And I think that that is the message that the HBCUs, it goes back to that identity. And what you had shared is you finding yourself
Mm.
through that
Hmm.
venture, all the different things you were doing. What you were really doing is finding your lane
Yeah.
and where you could actually wake up every morning and enjoy what you do. And so I want to just applaud. And I didn't go to an HBCU, I went to a PWI, but I just want to applaud that it's something that I see
Mm. Thank you for that.
in that. If you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it.
Dr. Francis, you got some good questions, but you did say you've interviewed 500 people. My goodness. Okay, well, Taria. Oh, here we go. So, Taria, is there a such thing as truly having balance when
Mm.
you feel that you are operating in purpose? Because I am a single woman, by the way, y'all. I'm a single woman. I'm 45 years old, and I don't believe it's because of my business. There's just other stories. I got stories for that too. My definition of balance is not that I'm able to do all the things every single day, every single week, every single month, right? For me, I have a way, like an actual strategy that I schedule out my life every month according to what's coming up that upcoming month and what's important. So, like for example, the next month might be, let's just say the month is December. Well, we know December is a big holiday month. That's probably going to be a month where I'm going to be with more family. And so I like to find the best way to bring balance by identifying what's important those upcoming months. So I might not be doing as much work because the goal is to spend more time with family. If as a single woman, and this is just my own thing I got to do, I know that I don't want to be single. So guess what I got to do? I got to get out the house. So I have to be able to set schedules for me to go outside and go and meet some people to read, right? And so for me to have complete balance, one of the things that I do is again, I plan my life in advance. I even plan time with my friends because it's important to me to have those relationships. When I was building my network marketing business, I had got so gung ho about building business that I used to even say, like, if you're not trying to sell this coffee, don't even call my phone. And baby, they did stop calling my phone. I looked up and I had fell into a deep depression because everything seemed to be going wrong, even though the income was coming in, but my life was not where I wanted to be. I had this beautiful car. I was living at the 32nd floor in this beautiful high rise in Atlanta. Owned a townhome. Mind you, I was making crazy decisions because why do you have a townhome in Buckhead and then you go want to stay in the 32nd floor of a high? Because I thought I needed to live somewhere else, right? And so I was having all these material things that everybody told me success looked like. But when I looked back, I had nobody in my life that I knew truly, genuinely loved me. And so for me, I don't necessarily believe that every single month can I fit everybody into the calendar, but the best way to have balance is to allocate those months in advance and make sure to fit in the things that are important. So I think that would be a question I would always want to know for, when people are super successful, do you schedule everything out? Yes, I do. I schedule time with my friends. I schedule single dates by myself so that even if I ain't got no man to go with me, I'm still going out on a date. If it's just me and myself and myself and myself, I'm gonna have a date. So yeah, that would be my question.
Talk about mental wellness and entrepreneurship.
Well, I think every entrepreneur probably got a little bipolarism in them. We got a lot of mental issues. No, my mental wellness has been a constant journey. It is not something that has been easy because, Unfortunately, we live in this world of social media where it's so quickly I can log into Instagram, be having a horrible day. As soon as I go to Instagram, I'm seeing someone who I feel like I'm better than. Let's just be honest, y'all, that I'm smarter than, that I'm prettier than, or guys more handsome than, that I'm overall I am better than. But this person is winning. They got the husband, they got the millions and millions. I'm making a million, but they making multi-millions. They on private jets. They got thousands of people cheering them on. I got 100, right? And so unfortunately, social media will get you to a state where you feel like you're not doing enough. And I think that directly correlates with sometimes our mental wellness. And so for me, I first of all have to remind myself that a lot of times what these people are posting is not necessarily the truth, anyways, number one. But number two is that whenever I feel myself emotionally getting unbalanced, I got to do the things that are going to balance me. I got to take some time away. I've got to be able to, like, I went on a road trip the last week to Texas. I love the road. So I love driving. I don't ignore the signs. I did at one time. I ignored it. Like, even when I said, oh man, I didn't feel like waking up. Well, I'm about to take a nap. Okay, once we're done today, y'all, I'm gonna go lay down and take me a good power midday nap and make sure that I check in with body. And so I was feeling myself going through these things, and then eventually it got to the point where it was like I couldn't take another thing, and I fell into this deep depression. It was so bad that I also was questioning if I should even live here in this world anymore. Like, no, literally. Um, it got real bad. Like, I had built up this business. They told me to go and buy all the things. It's gonna make you happy. And it did it. I was, traveling the world, building this business all over the country, in multiple countries. And I was so unhappy. And I remember being in that place where I was really like looking for ways to make it happen. So I couldn't be here. And unfortunately, but fortunately, every single way where it was like guaranteed, I was afraid. I have a gun. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I do have a gun, y'all. The gun stays in the case all the time. Yeah, I'm scared of the gun, but I know how to shoot it, but I don't like guns, right? And so that's not gonna work. I'm afraid of heights. I get up high. I was on the 32nd floor, never went on the patio. So I realized that in that moment when I couldn't find something that was guaranteed, I had to ask God. And that was a real moment for me. I asked God, listen, if you're gonna make me afraid, I really need to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we have as entrepreneurs when it comes to our mental wellness is going and doing things that you see other people doing that is not your purpose, that is not your calling. I could do this for real. Like if I would do what I do today for free. Only reason I got to charge because I got bills and I got a staff. But literally, you have some people, they're charging astronomical fees just because they want to, but they look stressed out because they're not operating in purpose. And so I will encourage every single one of you. The best way to tap into your mental wellness is to also tap into purpose. Make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to, and not because of, oh, I see this person making a lot of money. I know I can do that. Let me go do it. Because you will burn out. You will be unhappy. You will be like everything, like in a relationship. I'm not about to be in a relationship that's going to stress me. No, seriously. It's got to be something that is a relationship that's aligned with happiness, with balance, with purpose. With I would hold on to relationships where it wasn't serving me, but because I thought I needed it. So, entrepreneurs, everybody, you're gonna go through ups and downs. It's a roller coaster of emotions, but tap into purpose, pay attention to your body, and make sure like surround yourself with people who bring you peace. Yeah.
Absolutely. Taurea, I thank you so much for your authenticity and just being so raw. And for anyone listening, and I thank you for that piece on mental wellness. And I want to say to anyone that's listening, if in fact you do feel that, and thank God your trust and hope is in Jesus Christ, knowing. But I want to say to those that are listening, anyone that's feeling like, I don't want to be here, I can't do it, I want you to definitely call 988. That's real talk. So I appreciate you sharing that piece with the audience. And we just want to say to anyone that is dealing with that we take it very seriously, that you
Yes.
get help if you need it. We've come to the part of our interview. It's called Rapid Round of Fun. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd like you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the rapid round of fun?
Ooh, Lord. Yes, let's go.
All right. You relax doing what?
Nothing in the water. Nothing in the water.
Okay. And your favorite singer or rapper?
Beyonce.
Your favorite dance song?
I'm a single ladies. See, that's a problem. That's why I can't be running around here talking about single ladies and I'm trying to be married. See, what's wrong with you?
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
White rice. And oh my God, white rice for everything. I love white rice.
What is your favorite comfort food?
White rice.
Right, right. Hit the couch or work out?
Hit the couch, even though I do work out too, but I love the couch in the movie.
I love that. Taurea Avant, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast. Before we let you go, share with our audience the best way for them to connect with you, to do business with you, and feel free to leave all your social media handles.
Absolutely. Dr. Francis, thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed myself. Listen, for anybody that wants to learn how to get on more stages, even if your book is not done, you're ready to be more visible, you want to speak in front of your target audience, I have a very easy website, howtospeakonmorestages.com. Howtospeakonmorestages.com. That's where you're going to go. I'm going to give you access to a free 15-minute training that's going to get you started, regardless if your book is done. Now, you know, I'm going to have you writing that book, but howtospeakonmorestages.com is where you're going to go. Also, once you go there to get access, it'll give you an invite to our free community where you get the chance to meet some of the people that I talked about today. And you'll get all of my social media details there too. So, howtospeakonmorestages.com.
Thank you. That's a wrap.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast. If you enjoy this episode, please leave us a review. Share it with your friends and help others discover the show. For more episodes and show notes, visit www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday for another episode. And remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank account and your business in the black.